very excited to talk to you guys about our brand new product. You can see this install that's been completed behind me. In this video, we're gonna go through how that installation was actually completed, so you'll see plenty of footage of how all of that happened. I'm also gonna give you some good best practice tips on things you should do during that installation, and then we'll show you how it's commissioned. One important step that you don't wanna forget about is to make sure to ask the homeowner for a picture of their panel. So that way, in this example here, in this 200 amp service, you can ask the homeowner what loads they'd like to have moved to our ATS for backup from our new battery system.
One of the most important things to do when installing is to make sure that your loads that you actually have backed up do not exceed the power output of the inverter.
Here we have our new ATS. We call it the power dock. You can see here that I have it standing on some foam. It's because there is a Wi-Fi module that's underneath here. So when you take it out of the box, just be careful to not accidentally damage that Wi-Fi module. Here in this box, we have all of the materials that you'll be provided to install this ATS. We have the power cable here. You have 3 different sets of CTs, as well as all of the screws. With our new ATS, we wanted to keep things as convenient as possible for you. So it actually breaks into 2 different parts. The bottom part here is called our battery combiner. You can actually break it apart from this top part here by loosening these 4 screws that I'm pointing to here. If you do that, you'll have to run the output of that battery combiner at a distance of your own choosing to these outputs in here. But you can keep it together and mount it all as one on the wall if the space allows it. So we're about to start the installation. Make sure before you actually begin that you talk with the homeowner on where the equipment is actually going to go. In this specific example, we're going to be doing a partial home backup with a split mount configuration between the ATS and the battery combiner box. Okay, so here we are. We have our wiring all completed for this installation. So we have our ATS here. It's actually loaded onto one of the breakers here on the main panel. This is a partial home backup. If it was a full home backup, you'd use a CSR breaker and you'd put that right here and connect it to your meter. We have the CTs here on the main panel wired in to this top port right there. We also have the COM wire wired in down here, and that goes to the battery combiner box, which is over down there on that wall. All of our loads right here have been moved from the main panel onto here, and right here is our battery breaker. So that's the output of our battery combiner box is landed right there. So depending on the installation environment, you'll have one of 2 possible setups. You're either going to use a wall mount or some kind of floor stand. In this specific case over here, we're going to use a floor stand. Before you start stacking your batteries, it's smart to actually plug in your power cable here into your battery combiner box, because then you know how much room you have to work with, because the inverter that goes on top of the battery stack needs to be within range of this 6-foot cable. So make sure you install it first, that way you know how much workspace you have. Here we have one of our batteries. When you pull it out of the box, you're gonna find a rubber seal that's right here that protects the electrical connections for the battery. If this battery is the bottom one, make sure that you leave this rubber seal on so that it protects those power connections. So when it's laying on the floor, nothing could damage it. Remember, for the second battery in the installation, you need to remove this rubber cap so that the power connections can be made when stacking the batteries. Once you have your batteries stacked up to the proper height, go ahead and grab your bracket that should be included with your purchase. You line it up here like so it secures the battery stack, and then make sure that you actually mount it into the studs on the wall for maximum support. We have a couple important tips when stacking multiple batteries together. First tip is to make sure that the ground is level so that the stack stays stable as you add more batteries to it. And as you add more batteries to it, you want to make sure you have enough vertical workspace so that you can get up to 5 batteries stacked together. This is only 4, so I'm about to stack a 5th battery on here, so I've enlisted some help from some people here. We recommend 3 people for this lift. These batteries are 130 pounds, so you have a 3rd person here to help monitor and support the battery and to let you know when you've got it stacked properly. Okay, so here we have a full stack of batteries. Just for reference, I am 6'4", so this does take up quite a bit of vertical space. One thing to consider before stacking the batteries like this is make sure that you check your local regulations and find out what the maximum unit capacity you can install for a battery is. In this case, this would be 30 kilowatt hours. Once you have the system fully stacked up and wired and everything is all ready to go, you can go ahead and download our app from the App Store. That's how you're going to commission.
Remember that your circuits 1 and 2 are off by default, so you will need to turn them on through the Anker app.